What's up guys, TC here and welcome back to Starbound. Today we are covering the 1.3 unstable build that was released this morning, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. This is primarily a mech and space based update, so I just want to give you guys a quick little video on this. I'm not going to go super in depth because there's a whole bunch to cover, but I wanted to cover all the main pieces of it, so let's jump in. Welcome back guys. So today's video is going to be broken up into 3 or 4 different parts. The first bit is we mainly built around the travel bit, so as you know, Starbound's traveling mechanics in space has been changed drastically, so I want to go over that and show you guys the mechanics, how it works. After that we're going to jump into the mechs and the space combat and stuff like that, and then after that we're probably going to look at the new items and some of the new change mechanics. So let's check out how this new travel system works. So as you can see, when we open up our navigation, the solar systems have so much more stuff into them now. So now whenever you left click something, it'll bring up the name of the body, and then it'll kind of allow you to, if you haven't been there, it gives you an unexplored thing, so you really can't look at it. But I've already been to this place here, Uranus Crest 2, so I can view exactly what it is by zooming in on it. And it kind of shows you the moons, what's on the moons, those things there. If you hit the, what is it? Let's see, how do you back out of this thing? There it is. So you double tap right, was it double tap right click maybe? How do you do this? There you go. So if when you're zoomed in, you hit right click and then left click to zoom out. It's kind of wonky, I'll be honest. It's going to take quite a bit for me to adjust to doing this. But you also see there's all kinds of other stuff floating around in this this little solar system here. We have all kinds of like these weird things here. So this is DZK881. Celestial interference prevents detailed scan, but there are anomalous energy readings here that warrant investigation. So this is one of the new encounters that you're going to see in space. So whenever you're out in space, you're going to find, just like planets, we now have other encounters. So these things could be derelict spaceships, functioning spaceships. They could be like ancient, I don't know what they're called, that ancient race, their type of structures. And you'll see here, they're all pretty much that same little thing, that mysterious little bit. We still have our, what do you call it, the little gates at the edge of the galaxies. And also you'll see the these little space stations. So this one's called WWW. This was a sample one. Something else we can do in this update, which I'm going to show you guys once we get into the space bit, is we can now make our own space stations. And so this one here was just a sample to see what it was. But you'll find ones like this one that are naturally occurring. So this is a medical research station. Researchers in this station study the effects of microgravity on physiology, applying their results to the development of novel medicine. So there's all kinds of different space stations, stuff like that you can find. Another thing to point out is that these environments here are 0G, and another weird change is that whenever you deploy to an asteroid field now, they are also 0G. So previously the asteroids were not 0G, but now they are. They actually kind of had really low gravity, but now they have real 0G. And there's a lot of new mechanics involved. Now when you're in zero gravity, it's more like swimming than just floating around. It looks more natural. But let's just kind of give an example of this travel bit here. So Uranus Crest 2, we're going to view it. Left click it, and now you can go to any of these things here, and if you right click where you want to go to, so right click, it'll actually bring you there. It'll plot a course. You'll see your ship is going to jump over to it, and I think the travel is a little bit faster than it used to be overall, but you have to do more jumps now. So you'll see your ship in real time, shows it going across the little system. When it arrives, it'll zoom you in a little bit. There it is. And so now we are orbiting around this moon, right? So when we back out here, now you'll be able to beam down. And this is a bit confusing to me at first because you basically have to pick the orbit. You can't just pick the planet. So now we could beam down if we wanted to. If we wanted to go over to, let's go check out this place here, this medical research station. So once again, we're going to back up, or it'll kind of zoom you out. It'll show your ship, and then you'll see your ship kind of dart over there to it. And this same thing, if you hit right click again, it'll zoom you out into like a galactic view so you can see all the star systems, and the same thing applies to zoom in. I don't want to leave this system just because I don't want to come. I've put some stuff in the system for us to some little buildings and stuff like that where I've stored stuff so we can kind of continue this video. So as we popped out here, now okay, here's where the fun bit comes in. I'm going to have to use our mech real quick to explore this, but I want to show it while we have a chance. So up in this right corner, you'll have to deploy your mech. Now I'll show you guys later how to get the mech, because it's not, you don't just have it by default. But for the matter of exploring this station, we're going to pop down in it real quick. So this is the new deploy screen or whatever. There's your mech. This is the one I've been using. you'll see you've got this little arrow. It's going to be pointing to where you got to go. And these are little emancipation grill things that pretty much just get rid of the gravity, or add the gravity. And so yeah, this is a medical research facility here. And the cool thing is you can leave your mech, and when you beam up, it'll just kind of, it's like it never really, you didn't leave it anywhere. You can't lose it. But as you can see, there's all kinds of cool stuff in here. You'll find like mech pieces, like here, salvage power coupling, salvage thruster nozzle. You can use these pieces here to craft different mech parts. Another really awesome thing are these new hull panel blocks. So you'll see these places are built out of these blocks, and we actually can build with them, and they are amazing. It's one of the best things in this update. These new block panels are amazing because the way they kind of like, they give you these like smooth angles. It's really nice. So yeah, let's just explore a little bit. You'll see here we have this like gravity generator. These places are protected, so you can't like harvest or steal anything from here. Like, you can't like break it apart. But this is actually a fantastic opportunity for me to show you guys these new this new rail mechanics. So we're gonna call these rails up. There it is. So this is a brand new item. This is a rail tram, and there's some really great mechanics here. So before, one of the big things is you couldn't send rails through doors, and now you can with these doors here. Now another cool part is that you can now kind of control where your elevator goes while you're on it. You don't have to, like, it was really hard to make a functional elevator that would kind of go to what floor you wanted it to go to. So now when you walk on, you strap yourself in. If you just hit down on this thing, you'll see the bottom of it lights up, the bottom of the triangle. If I hit down again, it'll light up. If I hit up, it'll go up here. Hit up again. I can hit down again. So these new ones here are much more controllable. They're basically little miniature vehicles that work on rails, and they're much better than the old platforms because it kind of locks you in. And of course, you know, these new, it's just a much better system. So I'm really happy about it, because the way it was before was really just, it just made the rails non-viable because you couldn't really make any true elevator system. You could make one, but it was incredibly complex, and you had to be a wiring redstone genius just to get the wire up to go where you wanted it to go. So this is a new thing here. It's much better than the old one. I definitely suggest you guys check it out. Fantastic addition to the rails. We really needed it. Now we're going to keep exploring just a little bit, kind of give you guys an idea. These places, you'll see there actually are some new little armor bits, or some armor pieces that we can show off here. Let's call this down. I think it's just a living quarters up here. Yes, it's like a kitchen. Yeah, so you'll see it's just little living area here. You can explore. There's all kinds of stuff in here. You'll find here we have a swing augment, more salvaged parts, so these little places are fantastic areas to get a whole bunch of resources. So you can definitely use them. One thing it's a little bit to remember that's kind of annoying with these is that you can't go up these elevators here without using this little tram system. It's kind of tied to it, so don't get too caught up in that. So yeah, this is just one of the many things you're going to find out, and this is just one of the many space stations you're going to encounter. There's all kinds. You just kind of have to explore a little bit. Again, these things are protected, so you can't like steal anything here. So real quick, we're going to beam up, and I'm going to show you guys. Let's see, do I have anything else to come over or to cover in the travel section? I think we're actually pretty good on that. We're going to hop down to the planet real quick, and we are going to show off the mechs and some new items, and then we're going to do some space combat. Oh, I almost forgot. I knew something. I was forgetting something. These are the new space stations you can call in. So real quick, we're going to hop down to the space station that I made real quick. This is obviously something that took me 8 seconds to make, so it's not incredible. It's literally nothing. So it's just an example version. And yeah, navigating in space is a little bit hard. You got to get used to it. Hop out. And as you can see, you start off with this little square here, and it allows you to kind of expand outwards. So real quick, we're going to hop up to this thing here. Let's see, how am I supposed to do this? Okay, well, we're going to put that right there. Okay, maybe we're not. Put that there. There we go. So now you can go up here, and it allows you to kind of expand this thing outwards as you go on. So we won't put that there, and you'll see it just kind of adds it. And so the reason for all this stuff, the reason it adds it like this, is so you can have controlled gravity and air and stuff like that. So you'll see we always have gravity as long as we're in here. And there's some really unique kind of oddness. You don't have to build within this thing. I thought you had to, but you don't. So if we beam up here, you'll see if we jump up. Oh, well, I guess I'm full of shit. So, okay, that's what it is then. All right. So, ignore everything I just said. What happens is if you go down to one of these things. So before, what happens is I broke one of these open. I don't even know how I broke it, but I managed to break one of these things open. Can I do it with like a fish axe? Let's see. No, okay, so it's a bug. Pretty much, I managed to break one of these things open, and I don't think you're supposed to be able to, because up here, if you look, there was one of those little panels, like an exit thing that allows you to make new ones. It was right here, and I broke it off, and it allowed me to build in space. And the space environment was 0G, but when I crossed this line, I lost it. So I was under the impression that we couldn't do that, but we might be able to break it here. Yeah, so you can still break it and go outside. And you'll see out here it is 0G. And this is kind of the new space mechanics. You kind of like swim. It's incredibly slow, to give you an idea of how... it's really, really slow. So you don't want to be out in space without some kind of propulsion ability, like either a mech or a jet spear or something. You don't want to be stuck out there because you move super slow. But yeah, there's so much stuff you can do here. One thing I like about this is it's super quick to build. It's got its own little storage thing. It's got a built-in teleporter, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, I guess it's just an easy, really, really accessible way for people to build their own ships. It kind of cuts out the middleman of having to like build a bunch of stuff. What is this here? Ooh, this is a mech assembly bay we can add. So right there. This actually works perfect because I was about to have to go to the outpost to show you guys this. I'm still going to go there to show you how to get it. But yeah, so you get your mech at the Penguin Bay, or not Penguin Bay. When you go down those tunnels, you're going to find this thing here. But this is kind of the gist of how you make your mech and where you get the pieces for it. And you'll see there's all kinds of like pieces it takes to craft these things. But I got to tell you, man, there are so many freaking mech pieces. It's insane. There's a ton of like heads here. I'm just going to show you guys some examples. These are the main bodies you get. Here's the one I'm using here, the Cyclops mech body. Dominion. Some of these look insane too. Like this one. Golem mech body. Some of these look like freaking Thundercat heads. Kabuto 00, Lilatron. This thing looks cool. In fact, I want to do this real quick. So when you click Forge, I'm in, obviously, you know, I'm in admin mode, so I can just kind of craft it for free. But we popped out. We'll go over here to our little mech bay. Take your piece and put it on, and as you see, I have now changed to the shark head. It's really easy to change colors. We're going to change it to something kind of bluish. There we go. And then we're going to go with the color. The secondary you can kind of change. There we go. I want that. So yeah, it's kind of cool right there. You have the shark head. You can change out the arms. So, like, let's see here. What do I have? I had some cool legs right here I found. There you go. Some weird looking. Yeah, obviously different mech pieces have different stats. So I guess I'll just break it down. Like the main pieces here, you'll see they have max energy and defense. The guns have their main power and their energy usage, which draws from the amount of energy that the main body has. And then the legs have jump power and ground power, or ground speed. So ground speed doesn't matter much unless you're using it on a planet, but jump power is kind of the, well, actually, you know what, I take that back. Both of these are really only important when you're on like flat ground. So then you have your other arm here, which, you know, the arms, there's tons of different ones. The boosters are what determines your flight speed in space. So these things are really important. They have flight speed and maneuverability, so it kind of controls the speed with which you can change directions. And let me tell you, the freaking space combat is hard as shit. Like, I think it's actually going to have to be tweaked because it's so incredibly hard right now. To give you an idea, like the tier 6 planets, if you were to go to like a tier 6 volcanic planet, that would be, you know, tier 6 monsters, probably tier 6 difficulty, which we're all kind of used to, and it's not that hard. The tier 6 space environment is like, it feels like level 10. Like, I'm talking, I couldn't even in admin mode, where I'm invincible, your mech is not, I have yet to be able to get my damn mech to a, like an encounter. Like, I always end up having to use my little rocket, my like haxy gravity wand to get there. So real quick, I'm gonna go give you guys an example of that. I'm gonna beam up, and yeah, you can't beam up while you're in your mech. You just leave it there. You have to hop out, beam up, but you don't leave the mech anywhere. It always goes with you, so you don't have to worry about losing it in that regards. But let's go to our thing here. We're gonna hop over to, this is a celestial interference, prevents it. Yeah, so this prevents your scan. Right click it to go to it, and I'm gonna show you guys just how ridiculously chaotic. Now this is a lower tier star, so we might actually make it there, but I have yet to get my mech to a tier 6 Like they have all kinds of stuff in them you can find. You'll find like asteroids with like stuff in them. You'll find structures. There's a shit ton of new monsters, and they're like flying space monsters, and they're really strong. They're really hard to fight. They come in big clusters, so you can't like. It's just, I don't know. It's really easy to get overwhelmed. Another thing, just to make this a little bit easier, we are going to. You pretty much have to do space exploration at the fully zoomed out. So, deploy our mech. Now once you're in your mech, you're going to see this little green, or the little blue bar here. This is how long you have in your mech, right? But it's also your mech's health. So if you take a bunch of damage, you can't use your mech very long. So you'll see here, I'm probably going to get overwhelmed, and I'll probably get my mech destroyed. So, I think it's kind of cool that it does highlight where your enemies are. It doesn't really help that I'm using a garbage weapon. This little curvy weapon is the worst thing ever. So as you can see, I'm about to run out of health. So any second now, my ship is gonna die. So here we go, and there goes my mech. So in this event, I have a cheaty little weapon here to help me get around. But yeah, so this is just one of the many encounters. I'm gonna have to use my little haxy weapon to get around here because I don't. It's insane. Like it's absolutely impossible to navigate. And this is not even like high. Like a high level. This is only like tier 3, and I couldn't even get to a space station without losing all my shit. So I'm having to use this. And by the way, this is not a weapon you can get normally. This is one of my custom weapons. But yeah, as you can see, these things are insane. There's no way to outpace them. They are much faster than you are. They will easily gang up on you. You cannot escape them. So there's really no way to, like, you have to kill them. So I don't really know what to tell you strategy-wise how to take these things out. But they are absolutely nuts. They're way too strong. There's no way to really, let's see. Come on, take me down. Screw it. You know what, we're just going to go up. This is too annoying. But yeah, so that's one of the things I'll say I'm a bit disappointed with this this update. The the space combat it's almost borderline stupid. Like you can't even, like they've pretty much made enemies that are entirely 100% inescapable. Nothing you can do. No ability or thruster or anything like that allows you to escape them because they're not just a little bit faster. They are 2 or 3 times faster than you. And I checked out the way they spawn. They spawn in big clusters, so you'll never just encounter one. You'll always encounter like 5 or 6. So yeah, I'll be honest with you guys because look, I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not gonna suck this game's dick. I'm just gonna tell you that, you know, that this update is mixed bag. It's some stuff they did right, like so these the construction, like some of the new building stuff is great. Some of the new weapons I'm going to show you guys in a little bit are really good, but the space combat is not something they did well. At least not until they're going to have to. They're going to have to cut everything's health in half and double the mech's health in order to make it even remotely feasible. Because there's pretty much no reason to. Like it's just not fun. I guess I don't know. You can't even be in space for more than a minute without your ship getting destroyed, and you can't escape, you can't run. Nothing. There's no like. There are stronger weapons, but you can't kill things quick enough. And when you get like, if you run into them, like melee contact with something in space, you lose a shitload of health. So I'll be honest, I don't like the space combat. Like they're gonna have to seriously overhaul it because at this point you don't stand a single chance. In your mech in space. Like you might as well just turn on admin mode, fucking spawn this thing in right here and travel that way because there's really no way to get around. Another thing that kind of pissed me off with this update, and I didn't even know it until someone pointed it out, but they actually removed quite a few of the assets in game for the like unused projectiles, so like the homing arrow. So a lot of you guys, if you know, I build a lot of my custom weapons based on unused assets, things that are already in the game but they don't use them. Well, they removed quite a bit of them. So the homing arrow is one of the ones that got taken. So now we no longer have an arrow that automatically targets enemies. So I won't be able to make any more custom weapons that will automatically target enemies. So that kind of sucks and pisses me off a bit because it's just unnecessary. Their official response on Reddit was that they're not responsible for maintaining unused assets, which to me is just stupid. It doesn't even make sense because it's not like it's a car where you have to, you know, constantly, you know, clean out the oil and give it gas. No, these are assets that are already in the game. They don't take up any space to store. It's not like we're short on space. you don't have to update it. Once it's in there, just leave it there. There's no point in removing the asset from the game in its entirety. Just leave it there. It wasn't hurting anybody. And of all things, they take out the homing arrow, but they left in the damn gravity thing. I don't know. There's just no justification for it, you know. But anyways, we're gonna check out these cool weapons because there are, well, I think there's 3 cool weapons, 3 new weapons, and some armor. So, in regards to the weapons here, let's see. We have the spear drill, which is a new one. So the spear drill is actually pretty snazzy, although it does not actually drill. So, like, it makes the drill noise like a spear. And I should point out that this is, in fact, the first legendary spear we have in the game. I don't think there are any other legendary spears. But yeah, it has a cool little animation. You hold it out like that. And then when you charge it up with the right click, it does this little drill here. But the sad thing is that it does not break any blocks. Like, I know I'm on my ship right now, so I can't break these blocks, but just trust me, it doesn't break any blocks. It just acts like a... It acts like one of those rocket spears is what it really does. So, excuse me. You can use it in space, but it's really not that good to get around. It does help a little bit, but it's not anything crazy. Now the next one here is the ray gun. This is a one-handed weapon, and this thing's kind of hard to use because look at its its trajectory. Like, that is so hard to shoot shit with. Like, I'm lucky it's two-handed because otherwise, like, you're gonna have to dual wield 2 of these things to hit any target respectively. You know. If it's going to be that weird and wonky, it needs to hit like a truck, and it really doesn't. Up next here we have the electro baton. So the electro baton is, it's one-handed. It's weird because we used to have a baton in the game, and again, they took it out for some reason. It was an unused asset, and they just removed it. But this one says, originally developed for Mechs Riot Police. It's shockingly effective. So as you see, you whip it out, charges up kind of like the Violium sword. And yeah, it's a little one-hand. It's basically a one-handed version of it. It applies the electrified status, so it they'll like shock nearby enemies. Pretty cool. It is one-handed, and these are all legendary, by the way. The next one here is the plasma assault rifles. This one looks kind of like a reskin of the Nova Kid Durasteel rifle, but it's like a pulse firing one, and they're bouncy bullets. Yeah, so they bounce I think twice. And the secondary shoots these sticky plasma, which is interesting because the sticky plasma is an unused asset. So this is one of the ones that I used to play around with, so I'm glad they finally found a good use for it. But it just seems strange they took out some other assets for really no reason. It's not like they're short on space, you know. Now, the next big change here, well, actually, hold on, let's step back. Many of you guys might have noticed that I have on some weird armor sets. So this is the Premier helmet, the Premier chest, and the Premier greaves. So with these are just like, they're just another set of rare armor. You find them out in the world. There is the Space Bird helmet, put on like that. There is the Mech Pilot helmet, which looks like that. And there is the Industrial Crew helmet, which is that. Now I'm unsure if you can actually find this Industrial Crew helmet in the wild. I don't know. I haven't been able to check that bit yet. But yeah, it's interesting. Now here's I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if, well, okay, I'm happy and I'm sad. So I'm happy, sad. But so they nerfed the perfect armor. So you guys remember this used to be the best armor in the game. You would get it through getting the perfectly generic items, and you could trade them in and make this armor. It was really great. But they nerfed it pretty hard. So now it's no longer the best, or really even close to the best. To give you guys a quick example, like, so you saw how much health we had there, like our stats. I have 2 sets of armor here, side by side, so you guys can kind of see them. These are 2 of the in-game. These are the, the S armor and the M manipulator armor, and the other one, I forgot what it is, but let's just compare them. So you look at the perfect head, 90 on its damage. This one has 108 on damage, 24 on defense, 24 on defense, 18 on energy, 18 on energy, 18 on health, 18 on health. So the Raven's beak is much better in damage. Then we go to the chest, and once again we see the exact same thing. All the other stats are the same, except the damage output is considerably higher. So 150 to 180 on the Raven's one. Then the perfect ones are 60 damage versus the Raven's one 72. So you just get a shitload more damage for all the same other stats with this one. And then the same way down here, we have, now this one's in different stats obviously. So this one here has, I think it's much more health. So you'll see 90, their attack damage is the same, their defense is the same, their energy is the same, but their health is, this thing is way beefier. So the perfect helmet has 18 health, and this one has 36. Perfect chest has 30 health. The Toucan breastplate has 60. The perfect trousers have 12, and the Toucan trousers have 24. So, I mean, they just nerfed the shit out of it. Like, it's just not even worth going after anymore. And on one end, I like it because I think I liked how, because before you would pick a certain armor to kind of go with your playstyle. So if you wanted a defensive set, you might go with this. If you wanted a more offensive set, you might go with this. So you want to mix one, you could mix and match. But they put the perfect set in there, and well, the reality is that it just outclassed all the armor. So what it meant is everyone ended up wearing the same set of armor, the perfect set. And it didn't help that you could get the perfect set really early just by farming Fluffalo. So in that regard, I'm happy because now we have some diversity to our in-game armor. You won't see everyone wearing the same fucking armor set over and over again, so that's good. But they do the classic mistake that a ton of developers do. When they go to nerf something, they don't just hit it with the nerf stick lightly. They beat the shit out of it. They knocked it out of the nerf tree and it hit every nerf branch on the way down. And so now it's basically useless. Like what they should have done is just make this like a more balanced one, or make it where it has like a, maybe lower all its other stats and give it a really huge energy pool, you know, because none of the other armors do that. There are so many ways they could have balanced it, but they just didn't. So it just seems like a waste, because there's really no point in getting this armor anymore because it's just entirely outclassed. So don't bother with the perfect armor anymore. Just, you know, pick one of the other in-game ones that you can get. Let's see, what else do we have to cover here? I'm trying to think what I'm forgetting. I know I'm forgetting something. I should point out there are some few caveats. All the new monsters that are in space, you cannot capture them with a capture pod. That was like the first thing I did when I got on. I tried to see if I can catch them. Oh, I know what I can do. I haven't shown you guys how to make your own space stations yet. So you'll get a space station transponder, which is this little item here. And this thing screwed me up like 4 or 5 times because I didn't know what I did. It's really kind of wonky in its controls. So you're going to grab it, left click, it's going to pull this up, and this shit takes forever. Like, I don't know why it takes so long. Like, there's nothing you can do to speed this up. So you see here all this, like, connecting to broadband internet shit. Like, basically you have to go through this. But we're going to name it Quick Station. Orbital Station. Alright, so you can give it a name and a description. So you can have multiple stations, which is great. You save it, and then it's kind of cool because it lets you pick an orbit. So we're going to pick one that's, let's pick one that's really close to the sun. There we go. So this shit's going to be really hot. So we've selected where we want it. Now it says requesting probe, probe dispatched, probe approaching target site. So you'll see it here kind of floating in. It's really close to the sun. It's nice and hot. And once it's there, now guess what? We're not done yet. If you back out, it cancels everything you just did. So just wait a second. It takes a few moments. There you go. So when you hear the music, you know it was deployed. So now we can go to our space station. So we're going to fly to it, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you first arrive there, because that's kind of important. And then after that, we're going to hop over to Penguin Pete, or the outpost, and then I can show you guys where to get your mech. The first time, what you have to do to unlock it. So we're almost here. So you do have to, that is another thing, is you do have to deploy down in your mech. There it is, so we'll deploy your mech, hop down. Here we are, we're in our little, what do you call it? Freaking power Zord monster shark mech. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So it's very, very basic at first. There's all kinds of shit floating around the background, but it's pretty cool. So as like we showed before, you can always walk over here. There's a bunch of these different pieces you can make, different kind of weird junctions, and it just kind of adds them in. Let's see if I can do that bug I did earlier. Yeah, so I see right there. This is, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but once you hop out, you can just kind of leave your space station. But as you guys saw earlier, I couldn't get it to work the second time when I showed you guys. So I don't know what it is. It's definitely a pre-release, so there's lots of bugs here. But as you can see, there's plenty of normal gravity here, and the moment you cross out of it, you get this shit. So, and also I think maybe you have to like reload it. Maybe if you like if you build something in here, and then you reload it, it'll have gravity. That might be what it is. So in that regard, it's kind of cool because it lets you build, you can build the space station however you want, or you can kind of have it built with these things here. So you could do it the manual or I guess the automatic way is the best way to put it. Or you can go over here and build it the manual way with whatever blocks you wanted. It's like, yeah, so you can build, you know, blocks like that. You can build it whatever shape you want. So now we're going to head over to Penguin Pete. Or actually, it's not. I don't know why I keep saying Penguin Pete. You do get it from a penguin, though. So, let's pop this up. Let's go to our outpost. And I will show you guys where to get this. Now, I'm not entirely sure where you get the mech. Like, at what point in the game you pick it up. But I can't imagine it being too late. So, you're going to hop down here. Go all the way over here. And you're going to see there's a brand new section here. With this little mech icon. Whole bunch of shit. And you see this little nerdy penguin here. And yes, this is all the stuff you needed to make your mech. This little guy is going to give you a quest to test out his little trial. So I think we'll probably do one real quick. Oh, never mind. So he just gives you little parts and labor quests to get new pieces. But the first time you encounter him, he's going to ask you to complete a quest, which you can only do it once. So otherwise, I would show you guys. But it's really just a navigation quest. When you navigate in space, you just literally float through a couple corridors and you're done. It's not challenging at all. But yeah, so this is where you do all that stuff. I think we already went over all this. One more thing I left out is there are little horns. I don't know where you get them from. They don't do anything. They're just sound effects. But yeah, so there's all kinds of mech attachments. I'm thinking about just doing an entire episode for the mechs alone because there's so much stuff here. Like, look at all this crap. There's so much. Like, this is just their arms, right? There's like 20 of these things. No, there's like more than that. And each one's pretty different. I still don't know which one is the best, but I could easily make an entire episode based on just the mechs. And I wanted this episode here to kind of cover everything and not be 10 hours long. So that's why I'm not going to dive into everything into detail. I just want to kind of show you guys. So expect more episodes in the future. Kind of detailing these things. We'll probably do an episode on space exploration, like the kind of encounters you run into. We'll probably do an episode on the mechs. But today's episode was just kind of geared around a general understanding of what's going on. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.